Well, good evening. Welcome to Channel 8 Sports and East Brunswick High School Gymnastics. Hi, I'm John Meggiolaro, coming to you from East Brunswick High School, where tonight we have boys gymnastics, the boys team coached by Don Weeder. And our first competitor is already out on the floor, and that is Anthony Sy, as East Brunswick will start off on floor, as will both teams. East Brunswick taking on Montclair this evening. East Brunswick coming in with an 0-2 record, somewhat uncharacteristic of an East Brunswick gymnastic team. And Montclair is 0-1. Our judges tonight are Mark Gattner from East Brunswick and Jack Heffelfinger from Saraville. And this is Anthony Sy. Anthony starts out with a series of round-ups and cartwheels. There's his balance move. Each gymnast is required to have a balance move and a strength move. Anthony moving into his strength move, which is a straight arm press. A little kick there. Front semi. Anthony pulls it out somewhat low. That'll be deduction. He kind of sat on that one. Front handspring. A round off and a full turn. First competitor for East Brunswick, that was Anthony Sy. And we'll be covering both teams this evening since this is a dual meet. And up for Montclair will be Damon Upshaw. And the judges are compiling their scores, and what they're doing is looking at deductions off of a 10-0 base or a perfect score. Each routine has to have a certain amount of elements to it, what they call A, B, and C moves. And as is usually the case, after the first competitor in each event, the two judges will get together and talk about the routine, what they saw, and more importantly, the deductions, the infractions, if you will, and the amount of points being deducted. You see Mark Gattner on your left and Jack Heffelfinger on your right, the two judges tonight. Since it is a dual meet, as I mentioned, we'll be showing both teams, and that is because we'll take one event at a time. In men's gymnastics, or here in the high school with boys, it's floor X, pommel horse, still rings, long horse, parallel bars, and then high bar. This is Damon Upshaw from Montclair. Forward roll into back handspring, back semi. Nice start. Good high back semi. A few hops at the end. That'll be a deduction. Front semi, a little trouble with it. Gymnasts, again, need to show both tumbling and strength on floor exercise. Scale's a little low. He'll be deducted for it. Now he'll get ready to finish up. Back layout, back layout. And Montclair crowd. Actually, Montclair team. Comes over to congratulate Damon. Scores for Anthony Sy from East Brunswick were 3.4 and 3.9. That'll bring up Darren Elkins for the Bears, second competitor for East Brunswick on this event. Generally, 5 competitors are the maximum allowed on an event per team, and the top 4 scores are taken in terms of the team score. Damon Upshaw's scores are 5.6 and 6.0. And now Darren Elkins for East Brunswick. He starts off with a standing back summy. Very difficult move. Start off a routine with. Flip-flops, back summy. Scale, and there was to be a, judges would want to see that scale a little more pronounced and held a little longer. Darren with his strength move, straight arm press, and a pirouette out. Front semi and a forward roll. Front semi. Round off, back semi. Darren Elkins for East Brunswick. Up next will be Bill Wilkinson for Montclair. And we look for Darren's scores. If you're not familiar with the boys gymnastics program here at East Brunswick, it's one of the, and has been one of the top programs in the state. Coach Don Weeder having, well, let me get the score first. 5.1 and 5.7 for Darren Elkins. Nice layout there by Bill Wilkinson. Nice and high. You see that side straddle, or jump straddle, move into front semi. We've seen a few gymnasts do that tonight. Wilkinson, a little trouble coming out of it. Nice high front semi. None of the gymnasts are holding that scale. And a high back. He touched with his hands, and a little difficulty there. And another touch with his hands. Well, what started out as a solid routine kind of deteriorated as the routine progressed. That'll bring up Josh Friedman for East Brunswick. As I mentioned, if you're not familiar with East Brunswick High School boys gymnastics, they have 16 state gymnastic championship flags or pennants hanging in this gym. And a testament to those teams and to Don Weeder, who's been the only coach that East Brunswick's ever had. And I would dare say that there are few, if any, high school coaches that can boast to having 16 state championship teams. And once again, the judges will get together to look at Wilkinson's routine to determine respective score. Judges need to be within 1 point of each other, and that's why you see the conferences, or so many of those conferences, go on during a meet. And when one judge is beyond that 1 point range, excuse me, they will get together and talk about what they saw, and again, the deductions. Wilkinson is 5.5 and 4.7. Here's Josh Friedman for East Brunswick, third competitor up on this event. He starts off with a standing back. Well done. It's an Arabian front, rolls out of it to a front semi. Here's his straight arm press. Another front semi. Now Josh getting ready. Last tumbling pass. Flip-flops, back semi. Nice clean routine for Josh Friedman.
From Montclair, Charles Johnson, on deck for East Brunswick, Andrew Fox.
Charles Johnson will be our next competitor. He from Montclair, and you see Charles coming forward to the mat. Our first event, we're at our first event this evening. That is floor exercise, 6 events. Men's gymnastics, unlike women's, which has 4. Scores for Josh Friedman, 6.2 and 6.4. Now Charles Johnson. And a series of handsprings and whipbacks into a Arabian. Nice start. Johnson has to kick up into his strength move. A little trouble with the handstand. His feet slipped from out from under him, so the front semi should have came right after the front handspring. Setting up what they call a Valdez. And Johnson's problem, quite honestly, is a lack of body control. He needs to keep those legs together, toes pointed. Certainly will help him. Two front semis. Now he should be getting ready to finish up his routine. Flip flop, whip back, whip back. Oh, that was Charles Johnson from Montclair.
Up for East Brunswick, Andrew Fox. On deck for Montclair, Miles Goodwin.
And Andrew Fox will be up for the Bears. That is Andrew waiting, as we are, for the scores. And once again, the judges will get together. And believe it or not, it's very difficult to score a routine like Charles Johnson's because of the number of form breaks and amount of times his hands touch the ground during the routine. And his scores were 4.6 and 5.0. And now Andrew Fox. Front summy step out into flip-flops into a back summy. To Russian split now into a press handstand, showing flexibility and strength. Didn't quite make it up to the handstand position. Front handspring, front summy, and another front summy. Seems to be a favorite combination tonight. Andrew now. Back handsprings into a back layout. That'll bring up Miles Goodwin for Montclair with Dave Dupler on deck. We talked about East Brunswick's record this year, 0-2. As I mentioned, very uncharacteristic of an East Brunswick team. Last year they were 11-1 and finished second in the state while being named Northern Sectional Champs. So Coach Weeder has his work cut out this year. And talking with Coach Weeder, he admitted that they only have 6 young men on the team and that they've worked very hard and, you know, have hung in there, but just not enough to get that first win on the board. Andrew Fox's scores 5.9 and a 6.0. This is Miles Goodwin. Nice flip-flop into a layout. To a Russian split. Straight arm press. A little bobble on it, but well done. Flip-flop into Arabian. Great height. Miles can get up there. So far, he has a nice routine going. Front summy, front summy. Certainly showing a lot of strength. Strong tumbler. Front summy with a nice high back summy. Very nice routine by Miles Goodwin.
Up for East Brunswick, Dave Dupler. On deck for Montclair, David Scheingold.
Dave Dupler up for East Brunswick. And he'll have to show something after Miles Goodwin's floor X routine. Very nice routine. Very strong tumbler. Should score fairly well. Should be an incentive for Dave after watching that routine. And one of the most difficult parts of being a gymnast is standing and waiting. Scores for Goodwin, 7.9 and 8.2. Dave Dupler now. Nice high front step out into a full twist. Not quite, but he'll get a slight deduction for it. His split. Straight arm press. Planche. Very nice. Should get full credit for it. Two very nice high front summies. Straddle jump right into a front to the floor. Nice combination. There's good straight arm press there. Nice and steady. Dave's looking real well. Arabian. And a little extra step there. Now his scale, his balance move. And now he should be getting ready to finish it up here. Front summy step out. Full back summy. Dave Dupler for East Brunswick. Kind of answers Miles Goodwin's routine, and we'll see what he scores. See his teammates coming out to congratulate him. Last up will be Dave Scheingold for Montclair. That'll be the last competitor for the Bears on this event. East Brunswick will then move over to the pommel horse. I see 8.6 and 8.7 for Dave Dupler. And now David Scheingold. Series of flip-flops, whip-backs. To a split. Straight arm press. Pirouettes. Front handspring, front summy. Double turn. Interesting. Dove into a full twist. So some originality here being shown by David Scheingold. He has a very nice routine in the making. So he looks to wrap it up here with a back semi. So our last competitor on floor X, David Scheingold from Montclair. And after the scores, we and the judges will move over to the pommel horse, where I believe Chris Knox will be up for Montclair to start things off.
We will now move to the pommel horse. Up first for Montclair, Chris Knox. On deck for East Brunswick, Darren Elkins.
And now scores for Scheingold, 8.8 and 8.0. And obviously with two judges, those scores are averaged together for one final score. And a conference here. The two scores would tell you that something may be somewhat out of sync when you're in the eights. You would think they would be a little closer together. So the two judges again conferring to see what they saw, whether full credit was given for certain tricks. And that's what they're discussing. And once this is complete, we'll have completed one event, and both teams will move over to the pommel horse. And let's see if they change any of the scores for Scheingold. One judge changed his to 8.4 and 8.7. So one came up and one came down. And that's kind of the nature of the beast in gymnastics. And so we'll go to pommel horse. Pommel horse, which may be the toughest event in men's gymnastics, requires the gymnast to provide swinging movements, if you will, both at each end and the middle section of the horse. Very difficult piece of apparatus to work, as the gymnast has only his arms to count on. His feet can't touch the horse in any way, nor can his legs. And certainly once you mount the horse, if you touch the floor, it's a deduction. So this is almost like it is for women on beam. And there's mount from the end of the horse for Chris Knox of Montclair. Moving to the center, must cover all three areas. Must have circle movements and what they call scissor movements. And Chris is showing a scissor right there. A little pommel work. Certainly takes years to gain any proficiency on side horse, and Chris works his way down, covers all three areas of the horse, so meets the basic requirements and completes his routine. And up will be Darren Elkins for East Brunswick.
On deck for Montclair, Todd Malone.
Scores for Knox are 2.2 and 1.8. And Darren Elkins, first competitor for East Brunswick on this event. Darren loops on, works his way to the center. Double leg leg circle. A little trouble regrasping. That'll be a deduction for touching the floor into his scissors. Another loop dismount. And you can see as these young men struggle how difficult this event is. From a dead stop, you move into a swinging motion that is to be continuous, except for the scissor action. Todd Malone will be up for Montclair as we wait the scores for Darren Elkins. So it's not unusual to see low scores in this event, which is indicative of the difficulty. .9 and 2.7 for Darren Elkins. Todd Malone. Loop on, a little trouble there. Go back in now to a scissor hop, if you will. Again. Scissors to the end of the horse now. Again, needing to cover all three areas. And a dismount.
Brunswick, Josh Friedman, on deck Montclair, Charles Johnson.
Josh Friedman now will be the competitor for East Brunswick. Scores for Todd Malone, 2.2 and 2.4. Josh loops on, as we've seen. Seems to be the favorite mount this evening. Moving around, double leg circle, scissors. And a loop dismount. Quick and fairly clean. That's all you can really ask for in this event. Charles Johnson will be the next competitor. As you can see, side horse moves very quickly. Average routine, about 10 to 20 seconds. When you get to the Olympic level, they could last 30, 35 seconds. Generally, they are quick no matter what level. 3.1 and 3.4 for Josh Freeman. Backward scissors, something we haven't seen tonight. Into forward scissors. Those hesitations there are breaks in the routine. The routine is to flow continuously. Charles had a little trouble with the pommels. Trying to make his way to the end so that he can loop off. And he does. That'll bring up Anthony Sy for East Brunswick. See a good shot of Anthony waiting. Scores for Johnson, 2.6 and 2.5. Loop on. Double leg circles. Into scissors. And loop dismount. Good routine for Anthony.
Up for Montclair, Miles Goodwin. On deck for East Brunswick, Andrew Fox.
Interesting, pommel horse is one of those horses, one of those events that you really can't spot for the gymnast, unlike other events where you can spot at floor, bars, beam, even vaulting. Pommel horse, there's no spotting. The gymnast really just gets up there and tries it on their own. Scores for Anthony Sy, 3.7 and 3.6. Miles Goodwin for Montclair. Oh, started with circles on the end, and you can see, or you saw on your screen, that he fell back a little bit, and there's another break. He needs to kind of regroup, get back into the scissor movement. He'll go into the circles, and again, another break. And there, that's a deduction. He'll get time to remount. And pretty heads up by Miles Goodwin. He was side horse is a matter of rhythm and movement, and lost his rhythm, took the deduction. He had it anyway to regroup and to try to finish up strong. Back into circles. Single leg cuts and the dismount.
Up for East Brunswick, Andrew Fox. On deck for Montclair, David Scheinfeld.
Andrew Fox will be next for East Brunswick. Scores for Goodwin, 2.3 and 2.7. Nice circles, side lift by Fox, looking good. Move back into the middle. Nice high scissors. Into a high dismount.
Up for Montclair, David Scheinfeld. On deck for East Brunswick, Dave Duper.
So we saw a nice movement by Andrew Fox on the pommel horse. Double leg circles, touched all parts of the horse, moved into scissors, and then he had that high handstand, if you will, dismount. Should score well with it. David Scheingold will be the next and last competitor for Montclair on pommel horse. Scores for Fox, 5.0, 5.0. Here's Scheingold. Circles from the end, moves right into the middle, into circles. Scissor hop there. Single leg cuts. And a fairly nice, simple routine by Scheingold. Met the requirements. That'll bring up Dave Dupler for East Brunswick.
Let's go, Dave.
Last competitor for the Bears on pommel horse.
Come on, Dave.
Scores for Scheingold, 4.6 and 4.2. Dave Dupler. Circle, side lift into circles, looking good. Double loop. Nice scissor action, scissors to the end of the horse and the high dismount. Dave Dupler, I think, just won the pommel horse event tonight.
We will now move to the ring. Up first for Montclair.
And that concludes pommel horse. We'll move to still rings.
Darren Elkins.
And Darren Elkins will be the first competitor for the Bears. So we wait Dave Dupler's score on pommel horse. I'm sorry, Montclair will be up. It'll be Bill Wilkinson on still rings. Dupler's score 5.4 and 6.1. Bill Wilkinson for Montclair. Okay, Wilkinson is about ready. You see his coach help him up. That's allowed. They can start him off, get him still. On rings, the judges are looking for movement between the rings, strength, swinging combinations, if you will. Wilkinson starting with what they call inlocates. Obviously, you want to keep the rings as still as possible. And apparently, Wilkinson ended his routine early. He may have ripped his hand. Rips in gymnastics are quite common, and it's when the skin on the hand is literally torn and very painful, burning sensation. You see Don Weider straightening out the rings. This is Darren Elkins. Score for Wilkinson, 2.0, 1.8. Darren looking good so far, showing 2 strength moves. Cates trying to get up into the V position or L seat position. Moves into shoulder stand. And a back semi dismount.
Up for Montclair, Charles Johnson.
I'll bring up Johnson for Montclair. Scores 3.1 and 2.9. Uprise by Johnson into the L. Gonna press up into a shoulder stand. Rolls out of it. Don't know if he'll be given credit for that. I doubt it. And front summy, inward front summy. That brings up Josh Friedman. East Brunswick's only competing 4 gymnasts in this event this evening. Again, you only need 4 for a team score. Price to an L. Josh moves into, so it's going to be a shoulder stand. This front inlocates back to the L. And flyaway dismount.
Up for Montclair, Todd Malone. On deck for East Brunswick.
Now bring up Todd Malone for East Brunswick. Scores are 3.4 and 3.3 for Josh Friedman. This is Malone, Montclair. Starts off with front end locates to an uprise, now into his back end locates. And off. Very short routine.
Up for East Brunswick, Dave Dupler. On deck for Montclair, Miles Goodwin.
Dave Dupler now for East Brunswick. 3rd competitor up on the rings for East Brunswick. While we don't have the official score, East Brunswick would seem to be fairly well in front after 2 events. Again, this being a dual meet. Scores 2.7 and 2.9 for Malone. Dupler now. Nice strength move there to another. Very impressed with Dave thus far. Tries to shoot up into the handstand. A little trouble. A lot of swing with the rings. Needs to control that. Pulls out of it. Oh, too much arch. Holds the L. And a double back dismount. And a little trouble controlling the rings, but finished up well, does Dave Dupler. Now bring up Goodwin for Montclair with East Brunswick's last competitor, Fox, on deck. Waiting for scores for Dave Dupler. 6.8 and 6.4. Good one. Front uprise there. A lot of swing. He's going to have difficulty moving into that handstand. And he does. He rolls out of it into in locates. It's not even holding the L. Strong young man. A little trouble with the swing, though, tonight. And that'll bring up Andrew Fox.
Of Brunswick, Andrew Fox, I get from Montclair, David Scheinfeld.
3.0 and 3.2 were the scores for a good one. This is Andy Fox. He will finish off East Brunswick's contingent on the still rings. Starting off real well. 2 good strength moves. Kind of missed the shoot handstand. Giant swings, although he's swinging a lot. Double back and little short on it. Nice routine, however. And he'll have a deduction for the dismount. Scores for Andy Fox. .7, 5.8. So last competitor on rings this evening will be Dave Scheingold for Montclair. Dave trying to hit that handstand position, a little trouble, had to roll out of it. Again, from the L, trying to planche. Need to hold that position to get full credit, but he comes back with a double flyaway. And so that will complete the ring event, and we will soon move over to long horse. Well, we'll move to vault or long horse. Judges, this is the one event that the judges will stand rather than sit. In men's gymnastics, the boys get one vault, one shot, if you will, unlike women's, where they get a chance to take a second vault if they so desire. First up will be Dave Scheingold for Montclair. Waiting for the judges to get ready. As I said, the gymnast gets one attempt at the vault in men's competition. Judges are looking for good amplitude off the board and repulsion off the horse, if you will, and a landing that has some distance between the horse and the actual landing. We look at Scheingold. Handspring, an extra step, that'll be a deduction. But not a bad handspring by Dave Scheingold. And it looks as though they will vault as a team, so that'll bring up Damon Upshaw for Montclair. And as you can imagine, this event will go rather quickly. Try to feed you the scores as they appear. That's Damon waiting for the head judge to signal that he is in fact ready and that he can start his vault. Again, judges taking some time to discuss what they saw. And again, remembering that they need to be within one full point of each other. 7.3 and 7.0 was the score for Scheingold. This is Upshaw for Montclair. Another handspring. Hands were bent, or his arms were bent, which kind of prevented any push, if you will, from the horse. Well, Andrew Fox from East Brunswick kind of steps in, so it looks as though the Montclair had two vaulters they wanted to put up first. Again, only 4 scores count. Scores for Upshaw, 7.6 and 7.2. Here's Fox. Handspring vault. Not bad. He should score fairly well with that. And that'll bring up Charles Johnson for Montclair, followed by Josh Friedman. Scores for Fox, 7.5 and 7.6. Johnson getting ready. Another handspring. Slight deduction on the takeoff from the board. You saw that his legs, or you may have seen that his legs came apart. Slight deduction, but not a bad vault. And now Josh Friedman. See Josh waiting. You notice that the gymnasts move from wearing long pants to shorts. And that's for more aesthetics and comfort. Short pants are normally worn during floor X and vaulting. Long pants on the other events. 7.2 and 7.6 for Johnson. We'll see what Josh Friedman can do now for East Brunswick. Nice handspring vault there. Extra step on the landing, but it shouldn't hurt him too bad. Goodwin will be next for Montclair. And this young man, I would expect a powerful vault. It looks fairly strong, look good on floor. And generally, good tumblers tend to be good vaulters. Scores for Friedman, 8.0 and 8.1. This is Goodwin. Slight pike on the mount to the horse. Had good repulsion from the horse, though, and good distance. See how much they take off for that pike. Darren Elkins in your picture now. Goodwin scores 7.7 and 7.6. Elkins, the third competitor for East Brunswick on vault. Handspring with a half. Very well done. Very clean. We'll see if the judges liked it. If you're just joining us, this is East Brunswick Montclair Boys Gymnastics. We're at our fourth event, the long horse, or men's vaulting, whatever term you prefer. Waiting for the scores for Darren Elkins. Just did a handspring with a half turn. And the gentleman you see on your screen is Bill Wilkinson, last competitor for Montclair on this event. Scores 7.6 and 8.0 for Darren Elkins. Wilkinson will try a handspring, and really not much repulsion off the horse. A few extra steps. I'm sure he would have liked to have done better on that vault. Last competitor now, Dave Dupler. Dave having a good night thus far. Dave, one of the all-arounds for East Brunswick. In fact, there are 4 all-arounds for East Brunswick: Dupler, Fox, Elkins, and Friedman, and only 1 for Montclair, that being Goodwin. Here we go, Dave Dupler. Scores for Wilkinson were 6.5 and 6.8. Very nice handspring. You saw a good pre-flight, good repulsion from the horse, and good after-flight. Slight form break, his legs a little apart on the landing, but he shouldn't be hit too hard. And East Brunswick did quite well on this event, and really should put them in good shape for the final 2 events, those being parallel bars and high bar. And the teams will get ready to move over to the P bars, if you will, parallel bars, after a score for Dave Dupler. Score 8.4 and 8.6. So the judges saw it that way too. And I would think East Brunswick's fairly well ahead at this point. We'll move to the parallel bars. This being the 5th event of 6. And Anthony Sy will start things off for East Brunswick. And you'll see the gymnast adjusting the bars. Each gymnast has a setting that is comfortable for him. Generally, it's the width between from the fingertip to the end of the elbow, and you'll see gymnasts check the settings by that method. And a springboard can be used to mount. Anthony Sy will start it off for the Bears. Glide kip to an L. Shoulder stand, he'll roll out of it, uprise. L position. Press to a handstand. And try to do a little, what they call a Wendy dismount. And as you saw, hit his leg. We'll see how they score Anthony Sy. Not a bad routine. He started off well, and just a little difficulty coming out of that press handstand into the dismount. East Brunswick out in front, 75 to 64 after 4 events. And now you see the Montclair team out there helping Bill Wilkinson, who will be up for Montclair. Scores 3.0 and 3.5 for Anthony Sy. Bill Wilkinson. Wilkinson uprise to a L, shoulder stand. That's the next move. He'll roll out of that to an uprise. Didn't quite make it. Those extra swings are deductions. Front uprise. Again, extra swings makes it difficult. Does a front summy to his shoulders. Little front summy catch there. Back roll. And Wilkinson trying to get into the handstand position for a dismount. Too much arch and he'll just come off for his dismount. Todd Malone, I'm sorry, Josh Friedman will be up next for East Brunswick, followed by Malone from Montclair. Scores for Wilkinson, 3.0 and 2.5. Josh Friedman, one of the all-arounds for tonight. Front up rise into a shoulder stand. Front stomach between the bars, trying to get up into that handstand. Now we'll swing up into it. Those are deductions, that little walking movement that you see. And a dismount. Judges are looking for swinging movement, obviously, above and below the bar. The strength move is a requirement. So you will see the gymnast, much like on the floor, trying to press into handstands or hold the L seat, as they call it. This would be Todd Malone for Montclair. Scores for Friedman, 3.1 and 3.1. That's Malone chalking up. Some gymnasts just use chalk, others wear what they call grips on their hands. Although it's really not advisable on P-bars to be wearing grips. Some do, or some combination of tape and chalk. Malone moving rather quickly. Kind of a dead period there. Straddle cut. Now into his handstand. And dismount. Not a bad routine by Todd Malone. Darren Elkins now will step up to the bars. Scores 4.2 and 3.9 for Malone. Darren wants to throw in a little chalk here. Start off by a glide, and his hand slip. A few extra swings into that front stomach catch there. There's the straight arm press. Tried to back Sumi off and made it after touching the bar, but you know, I should give him credit for it with the deduction, obviously.
Up for Montclair, Charles Johnson, on deck for East Brunswick, Andrew Fox.
This will bring up Johnson for Montclair as we wait for scores on Elkin. Scores 3.6 and 3.3. Charles Johnson, his next competitor. His feet kind of hit the floor on that mount. Johnson seeming to have a lot of tricks. But with those tricks are a lot of form breaks, which are taken away from him receiving a good score. And Montclair, quite honestly, is a young team.
Up for East Brunswick, Andrew Fox. On deck for Montclair, Miles Goodwin.
And so we go Andrew Fox now for East Brunswick. Scores 3.2 and 3.0 for Johnson. And he gets approval from the head judge and is ready to go. Nice glide kick into a shoulder stand. Hollow backs it up into the handstand position. Pirouette and is able to hold on. Straddle L on one bar. It's a very nice move, nice strength move. And a back semi off. Nice routine by Andy Fox, despite that little problem he had on the pirouette. Showing a lot of good movement, good strength, both above and below the bar. Should score fairly well. Now bring up Miles Goodwin. He being the all-around representative for Montclair this evening. Score for Fox 4.5 and 5.3. Straddle cut there by Goodwin. Front semi. Very fast. A handstand. Try what they call a stutz. A little short on it and a kind of indifferent dismount. And generally the mount, the dismount should be proportional to the routine. And it looks as though he just jumped off. I don't know if that was by design or part of the routine. Anyway, we'll see how it affects the score. Now I'll bring up Dave Dupler. Dave, the last competitor for the Bears on P-bars tonight. Scores of 5.0 and waiting for the other score. There we go, 4.5 for Goodwin. And Dupler, and he'll be followed by Shinegold, our last two competitors on this, the fifth event, parallel bars. glide, kip. Nice move there. Roll right into a uprise, handstand, a hollow back, pirouette. Again, the straddle on one bar. Very nice. Into a planche. You don't see that very often. Shows the strength that Dave Dupler has. Nice L seat. Back into that straight arm press. Looks nice on the parallel bars. Nice long lean. And a little difficulty on that back summy. Otherwise, a very fine routine. And just got his feet a little too far in front. And here's our last competitor, Dave Scheingold. Waiting for Dave Dupler's scores, 6.9 and 6.7. Here goes Scheingold. I think he was going to do a glide straddle cut and missed it a little bit. Sitting on the bars are a deduction, so nice handstand, pirouette to a stutz, and a little trouble moving. Front summy between the bars. To a pike back dismount. So some nice combinations, though some deductions there, hitting the bars and some extra swings, but Dave Scheingold finishes up nice for Montclair, and that will complete parallel bars as we go to our last event of the evening, and that is men's high bar. Waiting for the scores for Scheingold.
Our last event will be the high bar. Up first for East Brunswick, Anthony Sy. On deck for Montclair, David Upshaw.
Scores for Scheingold, 6.2 and 5.8. So Anthony Sy will start things off for the Bears on high bar. As we mentioned, this is a dual meet, East Brunswick, Montclair. East Brunswick, from what we know at this point, seems to be comfortably ahead. And in fact, believe it or not, East Brunswick's looking for their first victory of the season. Something quite unusual here at East Brunswick. Anthony. Back hip circles and dismounts.
Up for Montclair, David Upshaw. On deck for East Brunswick, Josh Friedman.
Upshaw will be our next competitor. Scores for Sy, 1.8, 1.8. Mr. Upshaw having a little difficulty getting it going this evening on the high bar. And he's asked for 30 seconds to re-chalk. It is a deduction. He'll be allowed to remount and pick up from where he left off. And dismounts. A little trouble on the dismount. And that'll bring up Josh Freeman for East Brunswick. Scores for Upshaw 1.4 and 1.0. Here goes Josh. Judges are looking for giant swings, both forward and backward. Release is usually above the bar. Josh, nice clean routine.
Montclair, Charles Johnson, on deck for East Brunswick, Darren Elkins.
Scores for Josh Freeman. 2.5 and 2.4. Todd Malone will be the next, I'm sorry, Charles Johnson. That's a slip. He'll get 30 seconds. And Johnson will jump right back up to finish the routine. He's already lost a full point off whatever score he will achieve. And he should be getting ready to do his dismount out of a giant. Kips up. Now he's got him going. And I'm not sure he's... There we go. Johnson finally dismounts. A little difficulty deciding how he wanted to finish up the routine. That'll bring up Darren Elkins, second competitor up for East Brunswick on this event. Our last event from East Brunswick High School. Johnson's score 1.9, 1.6. Elkins helped up by Coach Weeder. Moves into reverse Giants. It's touched by the coach. That's a deduction and a dismount. Now they moved from reverse Giants, pirouette into Giants, and I think expecting a dismount, and wasn't able or didn't feel comfortable in throwing it at that point, so took an extra swing and was touched by his coach. Miles Goodwin will be up next. You see him with his coach from Montclair. Score for Elkins, 2.9 and 2.6. Goodwin hesitates a little bit. He was ready to move into Giants and decided against it. He'll re-chalk. And he'll start over again. Well, not actually over. He'll start from where he fell off. That's where he must pick it up from that point. So he'll move into Giants. Reverse Giants, pirouettes. And he'll finish up with his dismount. Well, that'll bring up Andrew Fox for the Bears. As we mentioned, Andrew is one of 4 all-arounds tonight for East Brunswick. Dupler, Elkins, and Freeman being the others. Scores for Goodwin, 3.1 and 2.9. And Fox immediately moves into reverse Giants. Pirouettes into Giants. Looking good, swinging quite well. Cross change. And dismounts. Sheingold should be the last competitor for Montclair, as we await the scores for Fox. scores 4.6 and 4.8. Shine goal now. Having a little difficulty coming out of the Giants and fly away for a dismount. And the last competitor tonight for the Bears will be Dave Dupler. Scores for Shine Goal, 3.7 and 3.5. Dupler cross grip for a high start. And that signifies the vault catch, which he did. Nice move. And then right into Giants. Pirouettes. Did double back summy. And a nice routine by Dave Dupler. Wraps things up here for East Brunswick on high bar. And he tops off a very good evening in the all-around category. And that should do it between East Brunswick and Montclair. We'll take a break a second and come back with the final score in just a moment. Well, you see the gym kind of void of any activity, but let me finish up by saying that Dave Dupler on high bar had a score of 5.0 and a 6.0. Or scores of 5.0 and 6.0. And that kind of wraps it up here from East Brunswick High School. A final, East Brunswick. The Bears pick up their first victory of the season, 103.45 to 87.85 for Montclair. The Bears' record now improves to 1-2. Montclair goes to 0-2. So boys gymnastics tonight from East Brunswick High School. I hope you enjoyed it. This is John Meggiolaro saying thanks for being with us.